Here it is at last.
It's wild how the older you get, the more you see and experience, the smaller your mind gets. It's as though it is afraid of wondering, afraid of the outcome of curiosity because it has wandered into fire before. It hurts that I used to feel so much more, to be changed by art once, and now my soul is frigid and afraid. How do I stay malleable and yet strong against the tenacious heat of reality? If only my spirit would melt in the hot sun, liquid gold to be stirred and always glistening in the movement of being. But instead, brick walls are built around it so I feel nothing. I protect myself so much that I am empty, and I ache for this. Is it freedom to feel? Should I live each moment like a meteor, bright and blazing on a constant current, though I know I will burn out in the end? These questions haunt me with each burst of blood from my vessels, because what else matters besides being? As I slowly decay, my spirit rages on with each breath whispering, be. Is this what living looks like? Like there's this gaping wound in my chest, like salt water washed over it, and breathing is more like gasping, and this can't be what living looks like. Like the night never ends, and the stars have been eaten alive by the black sky, and I'll never know why the sun never seems to rise in the places my eyes look upon through broken glasses. This won't be what living looks like. I will sew up my shattered spirit with twine, and I will be my own light. I will be a spark to ignite the sun and defeat the cold, dark night. It's like I woke up one morning broken. My porcelain shattered, and I sewed up my skin like silk, but it never looked the same. It's like I woke up one morning boring. My bright dull and my petals wilted like I'm a drawing that's been erased, a shadow of me left, pieces swept away in the wind. It's like I woke up one morning bleeding. It leaks out of me like lava, a burning blessing, and each day I'm deflating, oxygen sneaking out until I'm nothing. But for now, I will wake up each morning bolder, brought to life by the light, and like a wildflower in winter, I will always fight. Gold velvet on the skin, soft edges sinking in, and the dim lighting fills your lungs, and your soul is full of Egyptian cotton. Smooth silk seeps into your pores, and as the smoke rises to heaven, your fears dissolve, and you are one with the sea-foam salty breeze. Abandon anxiety and ditch depression as you inhale deeply, and hear the crackling fire singeing your sadness, burning your burdens to the ground as each vessel brings it boldly with a bright elation you didn't know existed glowing off of you. Every morning is a new season, and you are a new you. Splits and aches and bleeds, and sorrow seeps out of my pores despite my posture. Despite my smile and my white teeth, my heart ebbs and flows like the tide scraping rocks, and I feel it all. And you know all that I know. And it's okay to hurt, and to cry, and to crack, and the red spills out, and we stand, and we smile, and we break, and it's going to be, it has to be, beautiful in the end. Like Jesse said, the second half of Secret Midnight Press. Jesse and I have been friends since we were 12 years old. So, we went through all of those awkward years together. In, middle school and high school, we just always felt like nobody understood us. Like we were just those weird kids, and everything hurt so much, and it was too much to bear, and, it was overwhelming going through these years, but it was really amazing having a friend who understood, a friend who I could talk to, who I could be vulnerable and honest with. And, to this day, we still have those conversations about the things that we don't understand, that we're afraid of, that, give us anxiety. And when we started Secret Midnight Press a little over a year ago, that was kind of our conversation and our heart behind it, is that we wanted to be those friends for people. That we could talk about the things that are hard to talk about, and we could listen, and we could let people know that it's going to be okay. It's okay to feel these things. It's normal. So that was, kind of what just fueled everything that we've done so far. All of this poetry and these conversations. By the way, thank you so much for being here tonight, for giving us your time. I know maybe some of you didn't really know what to expect coming tonight, or you've never heard of us, or you just kind of wandered in off the street, maybe. Probably not. But, poetry is something that's, not everybody's cup of tea, which I understand. And I've had these conversations so many times as I've been writing over the years. And I tell people that, I love to write poetry, and they'll kind of have this physical reaction, oh no, I hate poetry, I don't want to talk about that. I just get it away from me. It's something I've, been confused by because I've always loved poetry, but I think as I've had more conversations with people, I've started to understand maybe part of that is this discomfort, because poetry doesn't really have many rules. There's not this, list of things that you have to do to make a poem. It's just a way to express yourself. It can be short or long, it can rhyme or not rhyme. There's so many different ways you can do it, and I think that scares some people, because people like structure. But for me, it's my favorite part, because I think that's kind of like life. We don't have this checklist of things to have your perfect life and know exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's this expression, this thing we find in ourselves, this light that we create and give to the world. And so that's my favorite thing. So thank you so much. I wrote a book called Smoke Signals, full of poems. And if it's okay, I'll share a few of those with you. It weighs on me. I feel it physically. It's time. Just kind of the clock always seems to be in my vision, and there's never enough of it. And when you're maybe in a fork in the road and you need to make a decision, it feels like time can be your enemy. When it's what do I do with my life? So this poem specifically was also inspired by Alice in Wonderland, that scene where she's lost in the woods and not sure which path to take, which way to go. So she's talking to a Cheshire cat. This poem is called Cheshire. It can be truly overwhelming, All the lives we're not living, all the paths we're not taking, and the suffocating reality of the ticking clock and its irreversible motion. Ever forward we must move unyieldingly, facing life with unbroken breath, or we may miss a moment in the ice rink of living, because you will slip any second now and it's over. The lights go black and you are gone. So how do you possibly accept this tyranny of time, so vast and yet so inexplicably irreversible, and you are at its whim? A bet I am unwilling to take, a stake so high I can't possibly fathom a fully lit life. So let's take every path, for if you don't know where you're going, then, said the cat, it doesn't matter. Thank you. That it's okay. So my book was split up into seasons. There are 4 sections, one for each season, kind of expressing a lot of those emotions that you go through. I know you guys here in Nashville do experience some form of seasons. I've been to some cities that don't, but back where I'm from in Ohio, it's we get all of the extremes. It is just intense every single season, and winter is just unbearable some years. It's so gray and it's so cold and snowy and terrible. So it never fails that every time spring comes around, it feels like the first spring that's ever happened. I'm always just what? There are flowers? I forgot about those. Grass? It's such a freeing feeling. It's incredible. So my spring section is the last section, and I'll read you one from that. Also, most of the titles in my book are numbers. So this is 60. I am free, despite what my mind tells me. Oxygen flows like a gentle breeze through mountaintop trees, and my limbs are strong like giant pines, full of life and seeping the sap of righteousness. fighting through the seasons, endless patience and silent wisdom, I am free, despite what you tell me. My heart stomps through muddy trenches and the rain floods my veins, and no one can take my freedom from me. Thank you. At lunch with a friend, I'm absorbing everything around me. Every energy and emotion and story, I feel it all. And it gets very heavy after a while, absorbing so much all the time. And I find that I need to be wrung out after a while, to wring out all of that heaviness. And so for me, that's writing. It's a way to take all of the thoughts and fears and confusion and put it all into something that I can hold and something that I can deal with. So my encouragement to you guys tonight is if there's anything like that, any way that you express yourself that makes you feel yourself and alive and feel joy, lean into that. Maybe you've given it up for a little bit, maybe you've lost inspiration or been scared of it or disappointed by it. But if it makes you feel any kind of joy and meaning and purpose, it's so worth it. You don't have to be amazing at it, or maybe you are, and that's amazing. But just give it all you can. It's a way to release all of the weight that all of us carry from time to time. And so like I said with Jesse and I, we wanted to let people know that we are there with you. We're your allies. We're on your side. And this next poem is something I wrote about that. It's called My Hand. This is for when you crave the burn. Like swallowing singes your insides like black coals with orange outlines, like it hurts until it can't anymore, until scars cover your skin like scales as a dark armor for the fire. This is for when you crave the burn. Like a raging river runs through your veins, pulling you like claws into the grave, but you need it. More than breathing, more than bleeding, because hurting is healing. This is for when you crave the burn. When all you want is to let the sorrows swallow you, please take this like a life raft, and please never let it go. My hand. I think it's hard to talk about, being an emotional person and feeling things very deeply without talking about mental health. I think that conversation is still something that, in our society, it feels uncomfortable to talk about. It's still a little bit taboo that we'd never mention it. Don't tell anybody that, you've been diagnosed or, you'll be shunned or whatever. And so that's just something that I, completely disagree with. I think it's something that's incredibly common. A lot of people deal with it. A lot of people struggle with it. And it's okay. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. To be overwhelmed by life sometimes and to be scared. It's okay. And so if this is something that you find yourself feeling, it's important that you talk to people about it. And it's also something that's, worth fighting. It's worth working towards. It's worth the self-care involved in getting to know yourself and your needs. And, when you're not doing well, know what to do. It's worth it. So your joy is worth it. This life is so beautiful and it's such a gift, and it's worth fighting for. This next poem is inspired by that. It's 43. Never get comfortable with mental illness. It is not your friend. It is a force you must fight. I know the heat is like home, burning embers on your flesh, and you know you're alive, but you can't let it consume all the crevices of you. Because there is life where water runs cool across your feet. Rapid and royal, it breathes life into your bones, unlike this smoke that smothers you like wool on a warm night. Never get comfortable with mental illness, or it'll steal your soul when you least suspect it. So seek the light, brave like morning, bursting through darkness, and hold on for the new. If the sun can do it, so can you. I think that, like I said, as emotions are an overflow, my writing is just like constant overflow of the wringing out of the heaviness. It's easy for me to write about things that are hard or things that hurt. It's hard for me to write about things that I am thankful for, things that I love in life, things that are beautiful. And that's, another thing, when you do feel things so deeply, you're able to appreciate the beauty of nature and the joy of friendship and all of the emotions. And it's like there are more colors in your life. It's kind of like a superpower, I think. But it's something I have to remind myself of often, that this is a gift that I have, and it's, to notice all of those little things, all of the colors and the smells and the way things feel, and just to lean into that. And this next poem is kind of a reminder to self in that way. This is 58. Break the beat. Taste the scream rising from your toes and fluttering in your lungs like a magician's dove appearing from darkness. Flicker and wave. Let the heat of life devour you, melting like wax as a beautiful fiery avalanche. Colorful courage. Flowers flow through your veins and your spirit stretches and groans like the trees in a windstorm. Feel it all. Orange and white burn your skin. Life is full of you. And the stars burn bright and blazing, even in the darkest blue. For being here. You've heard this already, and we'll probably continue to hear it, that this is our last show of this tour. And it's very special and wonderful, and so many emotions. It's been an incredible experience being able to travel around with these wonderful, loving, kind souls. It's just been so cool, and meeting so many lovely people. So thank you for being a part of this. This is kind of our first time really doing this, so it means a lot, and it's so special. Yeah, thank you. So this next one is a new one. I'm always writing pretty much every day, and I have a lot of new stuff that I'm hoping to put into a new book in the near future. And this next one is, it's a little poem about, kind of like I said, the wrestling between, being an emotional, sensitive person and wanting to be something else. I see people, what it seems like, they're able to kind of just coast along in life and float along the surface, and I get so envious of them. And I wish that I could be like that I could just kind of wake up and do my day and go to bed and do it again the next day and just, coast along. It's never been that easy for me. So when I do find myself feeling jealous about that, I remember how thankful I am that I experienced things as deeply as I do. As hard as it can be, it still is such a wonderful thing. And that's what this is about. This is 61. When I dive to my depths, it's a slow-motion hurricane. Galaxies orbiting, tidal waves crash and clear, over and over. Stars spin bright, and I'll never have both feet on the ground. But give me the deep, I'd rather drown. Thank you. Come back up and we'll talk a little bit more about what we do. So let's hear it for Jesse. Welcome back.
You did great.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Everybody, I missed you. So we like to do this thing where we take our books and we flip through them and then we pick somebody in the crowd to go, stop! So does somebody want to yell, stop? Oh, snap, you are ready to go. Do you know what you're going to do? You're going to yell the word stop.
You ready? Yeah.
Oh, no.
So here we go. Just tell me when. Stop! No. Oh, all right. Cool.
That's incredible.
That's good. I like that. So this one, this is early on in the book, and it's kind of, I don't know if I've read this one before. That's cool. It's kind of like when you meet someone and you're not in a very good place, and you're like, you probably don't want to get to know me, which is not true. But that's how I felt in this moment. This is 4. My mind is a minefield, so don't wander too far, or the ground will burst like blood vessels before bruises. Chaos created by lack of light, limping through the dark alleys of me, lost and lonely, and I beg you to keep your distance. Safe and sterile and soft, clean and calm, you don't need these burn marks. So march forward through foot-worn paths, far, far away from me. So we have another Stopper.
You want to pick one?
Anybody want to yell? Stop. Back there. All right. So.
All right, we're a team now. You ready? Let's do this.
Stop.
Woo. Woo.
Cool. This was, yeah, broken heart, sad boy. So I miss you there. It's kind of a journal entry. I miss you there, beside me, under the tree or as far west till the sea. Apples kissing and champagne. We held hands through the grass so many times. From the sunrise of our 20s, we'd wash away the past, kissing again and again. I miss you there. You were beside me. Like the moon sits near a star, bumblebees near a flower. A voice you can hear. You were there. The fire left burning is doused when I see us together, and I smile again. From you. Now from you, I miss you there, beside me. Somebody want to yell stop for Ashley? Oh, sad. Right here.
Okay, let's do this. Oh, I already read this. Okay, let's try it again. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I read this one either. Yeah, this is one where I always find myself if I, am overwhelmed with a feeling and not able to describe it. It's so uncomfortable and frustrating, and it feels like there aren't enough words to describe things, and so that's what this is about. This is 32. I live in a cage of language and longing, flowers trying to bloom in a dark, dry corner, fire in a volcano that will never erupt, and the stars laugh, never letting me feel them. They're bright but not blinding, beautiful but distant, and I understand them. Watching the world from afar, words failing me, my heart betraying me. I'm banging against these walls, but my fists hurt from fighting it. There's no key that will unlock my misery, so I wait for life to escape me, my spirit set free from feeling. All right, we have another volunteer right there. Hey, yeah.
Right here. All right, you ready? Make your dress. Here we go. I've stopped on this one 7 times. Let's do it again.
They need
Let's
to
do
hear
it
it.
again.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Oh, man. All right, so my book is arranged in a way where it's like a poem about waking up that I usually wrote when I was waking up, and then it's all poems that center around like a specific emotion or mood, and then a poem about going to sleep that I usually wrote when I was going to sleep, and they're kind of absurd. And this is called Falling Asleep 6, aka Honey 4, aka Stomach in Love. I've never read this one. Bananas on a grapevine and a wooden horse, lonely in the garden and brides waiting. Sleep is sweet and water with sugar. Diluted honey shivers up the arms and rain down the neck. Long hair, cute swing set. Bumblebees buzz busy buildings. Walking on the dock, Atlantic breeze dreams of dreaming daylight hours. Fingers and fingers, more and more. Stomach in love, toes gone cold.